Well, if I mumble in my answers because I was on an airplane today, so I'm recovering from altitude. Look, you know, people say Obama was off his game. This is his game. If you take away a prompter, this is his game. He'll occasionally give a great speech, but if you look at him in his news conferences, where you don't have a prompter and the president has more control, he gets to ask to decide who the questioner is, and he gets to decide how long he talks and what parts of an answer he'll give. He never does well. So this is who he is. I think people, I mean, he's intelligent, but he isn't half as intelligent as he thinks he is, and as most of his acolytes, who, you know, have treated him in a messianic way for the last half decade or so, think he is. And Romney was, I think this is obviously Romney at his best, but I think he made a great tactical decision. It was the first 5 minutes he spent on defense, but in a very kind of aggressive way. He's been the recipient of a barrage, an unending barrage of negative ads, which is why in the swing states where the ads are running, his numbers are worse than they are nationally. And what he did is he took them on head on. You know, all the ads, the over-the-top ad hominems, where he's a guy who not only lays off steelworkers, but he kills their wives. You know, that stuff which has been on over and over again. All he had to do was show up without horns on his head, and he wins that one. But he did better. He was tough, but he was respectful, affable, non-threatening, and he sort of, it's the double-edged sword of a negative ad. It works unless and until people actually see the guy. And when they see the guy and the negative ads are so at the variance with the real guy, then you get this amazing reaction. CBS polled 56% of Americans saying that their opinion of Romney changed for the better. That's half of America, because all they've known of him is what the negative Obama ads and the mainstream media, which is sort of a redundancy, have been saying about him.
On stage last night, he does not want to be held accountable for the real Mitt Romney's decisions and what he's been saying for the last year. And that's because he knows full well that we don't want what he's been selling for the last year.
Last night I thought was a great opportunity for the American people to see two very different visions for the country. And I think it was helpful to be able to describe those visions. I saw the president's vision as trickle-down government. And I don't think that's what America believes in.
President Obama and Governor Romney today on the campaign trail. Obviously, the next debate down in Kentucky, the vice presidential debate, and that should be interesting with Vice President Biden and Congressman Ryan. Vice President Biden was on the trail today as well, talking tax policy. Listen carefully to how he describes the attacks on the Obama-Biden tax plan.
On top of the $1 trillion of spending we've already cut, we're going to ask, yes, we're going to ask the wealthy to pay more. My heart breaks. Come on, man. You know the phrase they always use? Obama and Biden want to raise taxes by $1 trillion. Guess what? Yes, we do in one regard. We want to let that $1 trillion tax cut expire so the middle class doesn't have to bear the burden of all that money going to the super wealthy. That's not a tax raise, that's called fairness where I come from.
The potential for a Republican commercial to end at "Yes, we do," Charles, is pretty high.
How much are our guys paying him? Because it isn't enough. I mean, this guy's terrific for us. And the gaffe here isn't only the $1 trillion, it's the part where he calls, was that the super rich, the super billionaires, super wealthy. He's talking about people who earn $250,000 a year, people who own a dry cleaning enterprise, and they are the super wealthy. I mean, he's the gift that Republicans, you know, love, because he's always there. He'll give you something once a week. But on the serious side, because it's really, and I think people will discount what he says because it's Biden, and they'll say, well, he's just off on his own again. But from Obama, you saw all those quips he was tossing out today. It's what the French call the wit of the staircase, meaning the stuff that you wish you had said, all the witty remarks and rebuttals that you never said at the dinner, but you remember on the way out. So he had all these chances last night, which again shows that he doesn't have a good game when it comes to being quick and effective on his feet, he's trying to make up for it. But what's going to happen in the second debate between him and Romney, it's going to be a town hall. And that's a different dynamic, how you interact with the audience. And that's where, for example, Bush did badly, Bush won, and Clinton did really well. So that's going to be a challenge. Romney is really good one-on-one. It'll be different in a town hall forum.
By the way, we have the wit of the staircase sometimes here on the panel. When we leave the panel, man, why didn't I say that?
I have the wit of the car every night.
This is a symbol of thousands of other things that the federal government is doing and borrowing money in order to do that Mitt Romney might stop if he becomes the president, at the price of offending Big Bird.
With Romney on the rebound, I think Big Bird ought to worry. Thanksgiving is coming up.